Hello everybody, welcome, and I would like to talk today about essential oils for support and relief that we all need from pain and inflammation. All right, let's start. So, what is inflammation? The definition of inflammation is a response to tissue injury, trauma, heat, chemicals, or an antigen. It's a natural defense mechanism and protective response. It's immune activated response, and it's typically confined to a specific area, localized. So basically, when you get hit, stung, something happens internally, your body pulls all the resources, swells that place up with blood and starts repairing it, because with blood, all the tools and resources that your body needs come, because they travel through the blood system, right? So the purpose of it is basically eliminate the initial cause of inflammation and also eliminate the dead cells that that come with the trauma to our tissue. So that is basically inflammation. Bring all the resources and clean up the dead stuff. That's our body response, because we're supposed to heal ourselves. And we have two kinds of inflammations. We have acute and chronic, and let's talk about acute inflammation. Acute inflammation, it's basically a local inflammatory response. Again, if you get hit, you get stung, something happened, something snaps, then your body brings all the resources, expels that spot and heals it, and then it can bring pain, it can bring redness, loss of function in that spot, swelling, heat, and usually those symptoms have a rapid onset. They come in and very quickly get out. Like you see this beautiful eye here in this picture, it's nice, red and swollen and probably hurtful, and then when it starts itching, that means it's healing and going away, unless it's something itchy is the cause of the problem. But normally when part of the body gets swollen and it heals itself, the itchiness comes. And this is a good thing. This is a great thing, actually, because our body's meant to do that. They meant to get in alarm, bring all the resources, and heal ourselves. We were built this way. Unfortunately, sometimes chronic inflammation happens. And the main cause of chronic inflammation is our body being unable to repair the initial cause of inflammatory responses. And that can be external trauma, internal trauma, infection. And when our body is unable to, because it's either has a autoimmune problem, or it's just we are weak and sickly in our body, or our body doesn't know what to do with the trauma, then the chronic problem starts. The autoimmune response, as I mentioned before, could be also a culprit. So that means that our body mistaken healthy tissue for bad tissue and start attacking it. Lupus is a perfect example of that. Other factors that can become a chronic irritant, the irritants that are low intensity and are persistent. Quite often is the food that we're eating that we're not exactly fully allergic to, but they cause inflammation in our body, and then with time they can actually wreak havoc. So just be mindful of that. And what are the irritations? Smoking is one of them. If you are a smoker, hopefully you're not, but if you are a smoker, you have to be aware that tobacco and all the pollutants are in cigarettes, and even in vaping. Vaping doesn't mean that you get a cleaner product. You have a lot of issues with vaping too. It's not only affecting your lungs, it's affecting your whole body, and the toxicity is in all your cells. So when you start cleansing, a lot of smokers start having skin reactions and body reactions that you won't be surprised with. Lack of exercise. And why is that an irritant to our body? Because our bloodstream and our lymph system, it's basically not functioning properly if you just plump on your behind all day. And then we do that because when we, even if we are busy, we are busy driving anywhere, like that means that we are busy in our mind, but our body sits behind the steering wheel or sits in the house or at work behind a computer. So our body does not get the exercise, even though our mind thinks that. So common problems with lack of exercise, it's the pains that we didn't have centuries ago when we were working physically, and now start having like back problems, neck problems, carpal tunnels. Those are all lack of exercise. Also, exercise creates endorphins, and endorphins sweep all the negativity from our body. So 30 minutes of walking a day, it's great. Poor sleep quality. That is something that I would like to stress. It's so hard for us to get a good night's sleep, but doTERRA has products that help that. We also can create rituals, and we have the whole class about it. If we don't sleep, and I can totally give you an example after example from my own life. If I don't sleep right, our mood swings, you gain weight, you start having inflammation all over your body. Things are not progressing the way it should be because we need sleep to regenerate. And if we don't sleep, our body does not regenerate. High fat and high calorie meals. I think it's self-explanatory. High processed refined food. Oh my God. This is the food that our body does not know how to process. We eat food that's I call it Frankie food. And then our body goes like, hey, I don't know what to do. I don't know if that's a fat, that's a sugar, that's a nutrient. So basically wraps it nicely in the fat cells and stores it somewhere. Or, and then God forbid it leaks toxins to our body, because that also happens. MSG affects some people, doesn't affect some people, but that's something be mindful. Gluten and casein. That is a class in its own, but I can tell you this. Gluten, it's not a fab. It's a basically modified food that we eat, because a wheat 50 years ago was different than the wheat that we eat right now. Maybe a little bit more than 50. But it's the chemical compounds that bind gluten in the wheat-like products that is different than it was before, and that's something that our bodies don't know how to process. That's why there are so many people have something that we call a wheat belly. You have a hard time, you think that you're fat, especially the people who are slender everywhere else and they have belly and they don't know where it's coming from. Well, I would suggest eliminating all the wheat and gluten, modern gluten products, because there are some replacement like spelt flour is still, I think, unmodified. And if you like wheat, you can use spelt flour. It's still wheat, but it's a little bit, the compounds a little bit less modernized than the normal wheat. So I would suggest eliminating that. And I know it's hard, it's impossible eating in the restaurant and get something gluten-free, especially when you like, sometimes, we do like pizza. But if you go occasionally and eat it once for every blue moon, it's not going to have an effect like you're going to eat it every day. And I see it myself, like I eat a lot of gluten recently and my face is puffy. And I'm not talking about gaining weight, that's a totally different topic. I'm talking about the puffiness that you get from eating too much wheat and your body doesn't know what to do with it, and your response, it's just like that. Casein is a compound that's in dairy, in milk. But again, I had because I'm actually allergic to it, but the doctor told me if you have milk products or milk from cow that you expel the milk by hands, not the machine, you probably will be fine. The reason why is the chemicals they put in those chemical thingies that they latch to the cow create, again, the chemical compounds that our body don't know what to do with it. That's why they say that gluten and dairy are two the main culprit of causing inflammation in our body, but it's not exactly It's not necessarily the original form of those foods. It's just what we people did with those foods. Omega-6 fatty acids, excess consumption, again, the same thing, causes inflammation in our body. Aspartame, our diet sodas are just killers because aspartame is a rat poisoning, so that's what you're drinking basically. And alcohol, again, in moderation, it's fine. If you drink every day, you will have problems. And no, yeah, more than just irritations. All right, so how you might feel if you are constantly tired. And I mean, if you're running behind 5 children every day, you might feel normal tired. But I'm talking about you did not really do much. You just had been gardening all day, light walks, and then you feel tired. If you feel depressed, stomach pain, again, that wheat belly, skin and mucous membranes are inflamed, so you constantly feel, and it's not necessary, seasonal allergies, because let's face it, you shouldn't be allergic to anything 24/7, 365. I understand that spring, it's hard, there's pollen everywhere, especially here in Texas. But, you know, if you are constantly having inflated mucus, mucous membranes, maybe there is something to check in. Joint pain and headaches are also a good inclination that something might not be right with your inflammation responses in your body. Right, so now what? Well, when you are using the doTERRA products, and I assume that all of you do, you probably remember that pyramid. So eating right, and I already talked about it. Exercising, again, we have classes on it. Rest and manage stress, reduce toxic load from your home, and then you perform informed self-care, which all those 4 lead to it, and then proactive medical care, you should be fine. When we get older and we don't follow those steps, unfortunately, we pay for our life choices. So sometimes we have to have more aggressive steps. But if you are younger, you can still get yourself to perfect health just following those 6 steps. And number 1 supplement, and I will stress it out, that if I will repeat it actually after somebody else. I heard it in my beginning of my doTERRA journey, and I was like, huh? But if I did not use a single oil in my life, I would never like to go without those supplements. They just give you some great benefits. And even recently, I had such a nasty sinus infection. I never had one in my life, but there were some fires happening here in Poland, and I was working in very dusty conditions for a couple of weeks, and I'm allergic to dust. So all of that together created a very strong allergic response, which I ignored to the point that I got very nasty sinus infection. And then the Lifelong Vitality supplement was a great base to help me heal from it, and especially alpha CRS, which is the anti-inflammatory, it's a corrective inflammatory support supplement. I doubled it, and it was amazing. So general benefits, it's a general wellness and vitality. It's antioxidant and DNA protection. It gives you energy, bone health, immune function, stress management, cardiovascular, healthy hair, skin, and nails. And I have hair to prove it. I used to have bald spot in my head, and then that plus a few hair products from doTERRA basically took care of it. Your eyes get better, your brain functions, you don't have that brain fog. It's just like overall, it makes you feel better. But you have to be consistent. It's something that I am struggling with, being consistent. And when I don't take it for a couple of days, I feel it. The next one, which is great for pain and inflammation, and I use it all the time, is Copaiba, or Copacabana, as sometimes jokingly name it. It's great for pain and inflammation, for arthritis, gout, and muscle cramps. It helps with liver toxicity. I also help support my gallstones with it. It's for tendinitis, plantar fasciitis, and heel spurs, respiratory issues, and just name it, it has it. It is great for, I think, any neurological response that your body needs to control. Copaiba is great, absolutely great for that. It has such an immense impact on our bodies when we use it that it always keeps me in awe. How broad spectrum this oil is and how effective it is. Like, even if you use other oils for pain management, adding copaiba to it, it just increases the work of that oil. Frankincense, oh my God, who does not love frankincense? It's just such an amazing oil, and I underestimated frankincense for a long time, because I kind of felt that, well, there's so many other things I can use for that. Why, use frankincense? I was usually using it as a top layer of other oils, just to increase the work of other oils, because frankincense does that. But then there were a number of occasions when I had nothing around me, just frankincense, especially around kids, and then all of a sudden it was just like light bulb. I was like, oh my God, this thing is just great. And frankincense with copaiba, I always use them hand in hand. It helps with tumor growth and cancer growth and seizures and trauma, and it's like a wonder oil. When in doubt, use frank. And I actually use frank and copaiba together to stop tremors from addiction. When you are like addicted to drugs, and then when you go with withdrawals, you have tremors that are basically involuntary, and using those two oils basically stop those tremors within a month. So I'm in awe. I'm absolutely in awe. And every time I have a pain in my body, frank and copaiba usually go hand in hand, and then a few other oils that I use to go with it. Wintergreen, so that is a funny oil, because I actually don't care for the smell of wintergreen, and I don't use it very often. However, with that crazy sinus infection I had, I actually was putting an oil combination that has wintergreen in it that's called past tense, which I will be talking later in it. And my congestion was so severe I didn't even smell it. I didn't smell anything, so that was a good thing, because I don't like the smell, but it was so successful. So wintergreen, past tense, it's a winner for me. I always use it for my tension headaches, but now sinus infection, best thing ever. It's also found in deep blue complex. Marjoram, I love marjoram. It helps with carpal tunnel, tendinitis, arthritis, muscle cramps, sprains, high blood pressure and heart issues, boil sores, migraines, and headaches. I use marjoram quite often for a joint pain for myself. And also when I get water retention in my legs, I use deep blue rub. And on the top of that, I put marjoram, and that gets the swelling off. Marjoram is also in Aromatouch, so I use them. Sometimes I use marjoram, sometimes I use Aromatouch. I use both of them in pain protocol, and it works like a charm. Peppermint. It's another of those oils that you would never know that it actually works for pain, but it does. And especially when you burn yourself cooking, which I do often. When I burn myself lightly, I just put lavender and then forget about it. But excuse me, when I have a pretty severe burn, peppermint goes first, of course diluted, because I cannot stand peppermint on my skin undiluted. Usually I use like a infant dilution for my skin because I have very delicate and sensitive skin, but I also use it in to cool me off in the summertime, because you know in Texas we have this wonderful summer that you can burn constantly. So peppermint is definitely helpful with that. It's great for headaches. Again, it depends on your sensitivity. I'm super sensitive to peppermint, so I use like a 1 drop in the roller for my temples. I put a little bit more on my back of my neck, and it's just great for muscle stiffness. It's just something about peppermint. I grew up always knowing that peppermint is great for your digestive system. I never knew that it's good also for pain and inflammation, but it works like a charm. Lemongrass, lemongrass together with deep blue. This is like the first, if you have any joint pain or knees pain, deep blue and lemongrass, you're gonna go with it. It's great for cancer tumors, blood pressure and cholesterol. It's great for connective tissue injuries and joint, tendon, and ligament pain. Lemongrass is great anti-inflammatory oil. Before I met doTERRA, I used lemongrass in my cooking all the time. It's a Thai recipe. Thai food use a lot of lemongrass in everything. And lemongrass, it's, you know, like we make chicken soup when somebody's sick. Well, Thai people they are making this chicken soup, but they add immense amount of lemongrass and garlic into it, right? And also other spices. That the soup is very spicy, but this is something that it's served when you are sick, and it works wonders. So I always knew that lemongrass is great for inflammation. With doTERRA, I also find out that you can put it on your joints and then make, does wonders, especially for elderly people. It's just great. And also I like the smell of lemongrass too. Deep blue soothing blend. That's something I talked about. I like rub a little bit better than oil. However, I use oil in my soothing bath. So I put it with Epsom salts. I mix that with Roman chamomile and balance. You can also add lavender. I just don't like the smell of lavender, and put it in your bath after exercising or hard day. This is like a dreamy, like you get out of that bath and you don't feel tension and pain. And I did that after my boot camp. I signed in 2 years ago into boot camp, exercising outside in Texas heat. So yes, that's amazing. It helps with muscle, back, joint pain, arthritis, ache, neuropathy, carpal tunnel, fibromyalgia, lupus, whiplash. It's great for pre and post exercise. And yes, if you really are exercise buff, you want to lather with Deep Blue. It's excellent with growing pains, headache and neck pain. Never use that for headache and neck pain, but I will try. Bruises and injuries, yes. So this is like everything that involves joints and muscles. You layer that with lemongrass or marjoram for muscles. It's just amazing. It's just the best thing since sliced bread. I had a client once who there was actually a lady in the store, and she was kind of hesitant, so I gave her the sample of Deep Blue, and next day she's like, oh my God, my husband was moving this couch and he pulled the muscle and nothing was working. And I gave him this packet and he put it on and he's just like, I want this more. So it's just amazing. And again, I like Deep Blue Rub more than the oil. However, oil is best for bathing and soothing baths. Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex. How I love D. So another supplement that I was taking with my crazy sinus infection was Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex. It's great for pain and inflammation. I also take it monthly for my monthly problems because nothing else helps. So any kind of pain I feel, sometimes I just prefer to take a pill than put an oil on me. I'm more of internal user, and if I don't have stuff on me to create pills or something, I just take Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex, and I love it. It works so fast, and you can feel it. It's not only relieving the pain, but also the inflammation. So it has frankincense, which is the inflammatory modulator, curcumin. This is an extract for turmeric. It's for neurological support and balances, again, inflammatory response. Ginger root extract, again, inflammatory response. Green tea leaf extract, that's a healthy cell proliferation. Sorry, excuse me. Pomegranate fruit extract, cardiovascular support. Grape seed extract, it's 95% of polyphenols for, again, promoting cellular health and natural inflammatory responses in the cells. So as you can see, it has a lot of anti-inflammatory, and then when it helps with inflammation, it helps with pain. So I love Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex. And the little trick I do when I buy my Life on Vitality complex, I get Deep Blue cheaper, because you have that option when you are on LRP, which is monthly orders. Aroma Touch Massage Blend. It helps, it has marjoram in it, which again, it helps with all your muscle pain, neck and back pain, and again, neuropathy. It's great for restless leg syndrome, connective tissue, lymphatic support, blood pressure, circulation, and muscle tension. It's great for even just like, you know, after the whole day you had to come to work tense. You can either ask your partner to massage you, or if you live alone, you can just do massage on your neck and shoulders, and then back of your lower back, and then your ankles and your feet, and that kind of, it's like a spa. Past tense tension blend. This is the one I mentioned when I had my severe sinuses. I was putting it on my forehead, and I'm telling you, you have to be careful because this is very strong. And I accidentally put it in my eye, and it wasn't pleasant. I use a lot of coconut oil to get it out, because you don't clean your oils with water. You clean your oils, essential oils, with coconut oil. So this is awesome for headaches and migraines, for tension, especially for tension headaches. When I get those, when I get stressed, and or like when I don't drink enough water, then past tense is great. It's great for bruises and burns, joint pain, tension and stress, neck and shoulder pain, awesome, and arthritis. So, oils for head tension. We have stress, Deep Blue, past tense, frankincense, lavender, Aroma Touch, marjoram, and copaiba. For seasonal tension, we have Breathe, which you can also put in your sinuses, and as well as chest. Eucalyptus, peppermint, and lavender. For brain tension, frankincense, peppermint, bergamot, lemongrass, and I would add definitely copaiba to that list. So oils for nerve pain. We have basil, that is stimulants, eucalyptus, marjoram, peppermint, that soothes, and Roman chamomile. And oils for muscle pain again, we have Deep Blue, Aroma Touch, marjoram, peppermint, Siberian fir, and copaiba. And you can try which one works. I love Siberian fir. So when I don't feel like using past tense, which should be here, but I guess it's a blend. When I don't feel like using past tense, which works wonderfully, I just don't care for wintergreen smell, I use Siberian fir and copaiba in frankincense blend instead. And it works slower, but it's more gentle and has that beautiful smell that's also very relaxing. So it's a matter of personal preferences. They both work great. It's just what you like and you dislike in sense of smell. Oils for bone pain. Well, hands down, I would say deep blue, peppermint, Siberian fir, helichrysum, wintergreen, lemongrass. Deep blue with lemongrass, it's good for bone and joint pain, because quite often it's hard to distinguish. Right, but to help us with the proper inflammatory response, the circulation should be also proper. So to help with great circulation, we have cypress, grapefruit, aroma touch, geranium, cassia, and peppermint. Be careful with cassia. It's a hot oil, so you want to dilute. And then if you have a poor circulation symptoms, tingling or numbness in your limbs, limb fatigue, muscle cramps, feeling coldness in hands or feet, dizziness, headaches, that is all symptoms of poor circulation. And sometimes, like me, I was born with it. So there are ways to alleviate that. But if you feel those things, then reach for those oils. Cypress, grapefruit, aroma touch, geranium, cassia, and peppermint. Oils for ligaments and joints. Lemongrass, lavender, basil, helichrysum, aroma touch, and peppermint. Okay, if you would like to dive deeper and learn a little bit more, there's two techniques that you can use. Aroma touch technique is to basically applying specific essential oils to the back and the feet to overall wellness, and that help restore your body to alignment. And then there's a website here on this presentation that you can go and find a training for that. Symphony of the Cells, it's this amazing technique that you can definitely do at home, and there's information about it. It's basically understanding what the body needs and then applying it. It's very easy to do. It's a little bit easier than aroma touch technique. We have a training here in Houston on the 22nd at 9 a.m. in Glacier Education Center. And you can RSVP to Stephanie if you would like to come and join. I strongly recommend going through that or just learning about it. It's another great tool that we can have when to use oils that we already have. All right, so I mentioned earlier LRP, ordering Deep Blue polyphenol complex cheaper on LRP. And what is LRP? It's basically loyalty reward program. So you have two ways of ordering, standard and loyalty reward program. Standard, you just get 25%, you put your order whenever you want and you done with it. You don't earn basically anything except maybe, I think, shipping points. Loyalty reward points, point order, it's basically a reoccurring monthly order. So when you know that you're gonna be ordering oils, let's say your list is that long and you're not gonna order all of them at once, you're gonna spread them in time, then you just put every month a little bit different order. Sometimes I order oils, sometimes I order toothpaste, shampoos, or just my skincare product, which is amazing. But I always have something to order, and I would be losing my rewards if I just do standard orders. So you have to order minimum 5 points to maintain your loyalty reward program, which is like a soap or hand sanitizer. If you want to get 10 to 30% of points increase, then a minimum 50 points order, it's great for that. If you want to receive income, then 100, and then if you want to receive free product of the month, it's 125 points. Usually with oils, it's 1-to-1. With certain products, it's a little bit different. You have additional discounts. The points back increase from, you start with 10% and then go all the way to 30, and that's amazing because I think I am now by 30, so every order I place, I get 30% of it back in points. So after a few orders, I can have the whole full order free of charge. So it's just amazing. I love LRP order. who doesn't like to get stuff for free? And I always get stuff for free, so yay. All right, and then you can also earn cash to either pay for your oils, have supplemental income, or you have your primary income. You can share casually, you can help others, and you know, who knows, who do you know that needs oils, and then you make commission to pay for your products. And it's great because it depends how much time you spend. You can either, again, have your oils for free, supplement your income, or just have a full income to yourself. And this is a little bit of chart that tells you which level you make money. So if you decide to join us, the person who invited you to this presentation can tell you a little bit more about it. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you have any questions, you can always ask the person who invited you to that presentation. Thank you and have a wonderful week.